have camo on them. They're my honey
Ah,
boots. Dude, they're gonna be watching me walking all over the place.
Exactly.
And I told my friend Mark, I said, when we go, we only take what we carry, no backpacks, because I'm not wearing, I'm wearing my camo boots, because that's all I have.
Okay. Tackles.
But God forbid if I have my backpack with like rain gear and stuff,
You can't
they'll
make
see
it
me
either.
coming a mile away.
I'll send you a reminder when I send it in there.
Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the North Branford Planning and Zoning for Thursday, January 19th. In attendance are regular members Sienna, after 1 week, missing one meeting, I forget everybody's name. Regular members Leskovitz, Galdenzi, and myself, Harry Dulac. Our first order of business are the meeting minutes of January 5th, which I think were in the packet. And let's see, do we have enough people here?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Yes, we do. And I will be abstaining from that. So we get a chance to look them over.
Yep.
Since you weren't here. You get to
Oh, you
sign.
can, yeah.
If
So you ready if somebody wants to make a motion on that?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes of January 5th, 2017.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
No.
Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? And I abstain. That passes 3-0. So, we are going to old business, which is PZ application 2014-15-6, which is the 40 Zero Road bulk propane. And I think there was some stuff in the
So-
sound and different
right.
things. So if you have an update on that.
Right, so in front of each of you is just a copy of an email that I received from Brendan Shane, who is the hearing officer from the Office of Adjudications. And this is, if you did see the article in the sound, this is what the article is about. So this is the proposed final decision that was issued on Tuesday. I just received it this morning. The parties have, this is what the email says, the parties have until February 1st to file exceptions. If they don't file any exceptions, a final decision will be issued a day or two after that, directing staff to issue the permit. So again, this is regarding 40 Sierra Road. It says in the email, it's also possible they could waive the filing of exceptions, meaning the appropriate parties, during the next 2 weeks, and a final decision would be issued more quickly than that. If exceptions are filed, a more lengthy process in front of the commissioner or his designee will begin. And then Brendan Shane just said, I will update you when I know the parties' intentions on exceptions.
So let me ask you a question. Let's go back. What does it mean by waive the filing of exceptions?
So the parties could say we're waiving our option to file an exception.
Okay.
Like, we have no issue with the decision that's being proposed,
Gotcha.
which would then expedite the process.
So will they notify us on February 2nd that if there's been a filing?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
And just to be clear, so this is the Office of Adjudications, so this is related to the public hearing that was held in September. And I should just say that this is obviously part of the public record. So if the public is interested in this proposed final decision, they can get a copy from the planning department here at Town Hall. It's a well-written document. It's lengthy, but it's very, I felt like it was easy to read. So this is different than another filing that was made with DEP. There was another article in the Sound about that, which was the declaratory ruling, which was essentially asking the state, do they have a right to even hear this application? And that's where a decision isn't expected or due until May. So it's confusing because there's two different processes that are happening about the same general topic. So Pam Johnson, the reporter for The Sound, wrote the article today, and I think did a good job of trying to figure out how they interplay with each other. She's left messages for the state, but I don't think that she's gotten answers, and I'm not sure how they play off of one another either.
So if there's no appeal, then they're approving the site.
Right. So,
Right.
so their proposed final decision does recommend that a permit be issued for wetlands.
Okay,
Comes
but,
here, 35-day clock starts with those.
Well-
once.
Well,
but what's
When
the
does it-
May 5th? I mean, does that mean that they can't do anything until then?
I don't know.
Okay.
So how it impacts planning and zoning, and this is where I've been talking with the town attorney, is because there's an appeal period at least through February 1st, I've talked with him and he's recommending that we don't do anything until there's a
Right.
final decision. And so the next question will be, if it is appealed, do we wait until that appeal is heard?
I think
And I don't
I
have
did-
the
I
answer
did-
to that yet.
but
We'll
I-
deal with it as it comes.
but I think there's, but, I mean, should we initiate that? Because the clock starts ticking as soon as the decision's final, or whatever our lawyer says. So I don't wanna wait until February 1st or 2nd, because our next meeting would be, I don't have a calendar, but I'm,
February 2nd.
right. So we would lose one meeting date if we,
Well, we could, what I recommend is let's wait and talk with the town attorney and get some,
but I wanna do before February 2nd, though.
oh, yes,
Yeah.
no, and
Oh,
and
that's
that's,
what I meant.
I talked to him today.
Right.
And he said, let's wait until the appeal period is over and we see if there's a final decision on, February. It wouldn't come February 2nd.
But you don't know if even though they said that they would issue a permit, that doesn't mean that it's all finalized. Do they still have to
Right.
wait until May?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I mean, can we ask the attorney, like, what our steps need to be under different scenarios? One scenario
Sure.
meaning that, okay, so on February 1st, if they don't get, if there's no,
Exceptions.
exceptions, so that means that we need to, the clock starts ticking, that we would have to have, to bring, it would be part of the agenda on the 2nd.
Right.
So that's number one.
Well, so they wouldn't, just to be clear, they wouldn't issue, if there are no exceptions, there wouldn't be a decision issued February 2nd.
Well, I thought this was the decision, though.
This is the proposed final decision.
Okay,
But
I
they
see.
would
All right,
still
I
have
get
to
you.
take, he just says here that if they waive the final filing of exceptions during the
Gotcha.
next 2 weeks, a final decision would be issued more
Okay,
quickly.
I got you. All right, so I got you.
So-
All right.
So
There's still
Yeah.
no
What-
time.
there really is no decision until they decide.
Right, until they find out if there's exemptions being filed.
And then can we, at the same time, when we go talk to, when you have a conversation with a lawyer, the town attorney, would like to get guidance on the other issue that is not supposed to be, complete until May. So
Right.
the question is,
Right.
because the last thing we wanna do is have have this come to planning and zoning,
Mhm.
and then for some reason, they say that it wasn't correctly sent to the state, it should have been with the town, and now we gotta go back to wetlands, and after we've already, went through our process, and that's kinda backwards. So we wanna make sure that the steps are in line, and that our attorney gives
Mhm.
us the guidance on that.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we have 30, once it does come here, it's 35 days, period.
No, it's
Right.
35 days from when they,
From the issuance of the report.
right,
Issuance of the report,
So we have to-
35 days,
right,
period. There's no room for any
And
well,
kind of.
I don't.
even if there's
We
no
can find out if
appeal,
there's an extension, I think it would be up
it'd be up to.
Yeah,
to the
okay, I
applicant
just
to
was
grant the
curious.
extension,
Yeah,
but I don't
okay.
know, that's another question we can ask.
Yeah,
I just wanna get it straight that even if there's no appeal, which it probably will be, but if there wasn't any, I don't see how we could act on it if they have an issue until May.
Well, that's what I want to ask, our
Yeah,
town
that's-
attorney
Right,
needs to give us
that's-
that.
Yeah.
Right, that's a question for the town attorney.
Right.
Excuse me.
if there was no appeal and a permit was issued, that would be the wetlands report. The declaratory ruling seems to be another question that's being posed to DEP outside of the, what are they called now, like Land and Water Division at DEP. So, but I'll get that from the town attorney.
Because
I'll find out.
because the clock starts ticking as soon as their final decision is made. And I agree with you, but there's two things that we have to consider. One, from our town attorney, because we only have 35 days. It would
I
have,
understand that.
but what happens is, and Carrie, correct me if I'm wrong, but after 35 days, let's say we don't act on it. After 35 days, it's automatically
Yeah.
approved.
Approved.
So we want to make sure
Right.
that
Yeah.
our town
I
attorney is
understand
protecting us.
I understand that,
so-
but I don't know
And I mean us
how-
by the community, by allowing us to make sure that we are doing the right thing.
I
Right.
think you're saying.
I just-
No, I know,
You're saying the
but the
same
mace,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah, I
and
know,
the town
but-
attorney's gonna have to give us that guidance.
I
yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
But you're saying if the permit is, if the permit is approved,
Yep. The clock starts ticking.
I got that.
Yeah.
But I don't see how they're gonna approve a permit if they've still got things pending.
No, and right here it says it. They know something's pending. They're telling us right here that they're gonna give us if there's no exceptions, it'll be shorter time, not May
But that's
17th.
not necessarily the 2nd of February. It
No,
could be
no,
another
no, no.
month.
No, it could be, yeah,
Why don't we
whenever it
let
might
the
be.
town attorney
Yeah.
give us
But
guidance?
but
Just
yeah,
trying to
but
get
yeah,
it straight.
yeah. But
Well,
what you're saying,
I don't
what
know
you're
if we
saying.
even know, we're all
No,
speculating.
but we're saying is that his report has nothing to do with the
Okay.
other pending, I don't know, what do you wanna call it? But,
There's a second
Declaratory
issue
ruling.
yeah,
in May,
so, I mean,
that's-
and that's my concern, because I don't wanna, all of a sudden, the 35 days pass, and the attorney says, yeah, we don't have to act on it, and all of a sudden, something comes up where, well, it was given to us, and then that could be a whole nother issue.
Right.
So we wanna make sure it's really, clearly laid out, and he has time to, do his, due diligence on that.
Yes. Okay.
All right, so, our next order of business is a request for a bond release for PZ application 2001-02 Brooks Pharmacy.
So this is for Rite Aid. Some people picked up on the last meeting, it's no longer Brooks Pharmacy, but because this bond goes back to 2001 or 2002, it's one of those bonds that has been sitting out there, and so after looking into it some more, I found out that this surety company that was holding the bond was actually liquidated. So, the bond no longer exists, really, and I've emailed the town attorney about that, and he said that the statute of limitations have since passed. What I wanted to ask the commission about is, I went out there with, Kurt Weiss, the town engineer, and noticed that the site plan that was approved for Brooks Pharmacy back in 2001 or 2002 called for 7 oak trees to be planted in front of the store. Those have not been planted. And then also some work in the back regarding the detention basin. I couldn't tell because it's so overgrown, but they're clearly not maintaining that. I asked the town attorney what kind of leverage we have because the bond no longer exists. And he said, he recommended maybe reaching out to the developer, but I'm willing to try that. I don't know, again, what kind of leverage we have, or if it's better to just go right to the manager of Rite Aid and talk with them and say, this is what we've noticed. Are you willing to do some improvements?
Can I ask you?
Or maybe not. No one initiated this. I'm trying to go through and clear out the finances to make sure that any bonds that can be released are released, so we're not holding on to things and letting them get this old and liquidate.
Could we not take any action on this and tell them that the bond has not been released?
But it
Because
doesn't
they're-
even exist anymore.
No, we can't release the bond because.
Well, there is no bond.
No, there's no, the
Beside
bond, there's no,
that,
yeah, there's no.
The bond is associated with work that hasn't been done.
Right.
Right.
So we can't release it, even though if it exists or it doesn't. The work hasn't been done, therefore there is no money to release.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we do that, just tell them that we cannot release the bond. I understand there's no money in the bond, but we're not releasing the bond, and that's, I mean, you can take that as some leverage.
Does that
For
fall
what it
under
is.
legality though? It's
Well,
the
Well, that's
money
where
that's
the town attorney had said, you know, the statute of limitations has,
Even
Passed,
if they're
so-
not in compliance with the site plan, that's long done. Is that it?
that's what it seems like. That's where, you know, I can have more of a dialogue with them to just say this came to our attention.
Yeah.
I would think Rite Aid would wanna be a good neighbor
Yeah.
and, you know, it's good.
And they may
public-
not even be aware of it, you know,
Right.
to be fair to them, they may not even be aware that they were required, because again, it was Brooks Pharmacy at the time.
Let's give them an opportunity.
Yeah, I think the oak trees for beautification, the catch basin maintenance, they should be maintaining the catch basin anyway. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a problem for them.
Right.
Yeah, but the river's back there.
Yeah.
Well, and the town engineer was saying that, you know, there's never been a problem back there, because it's really just a retention area, and then it just releases slowly back to the wetlands that are behind Rite Aid. But it's clear that that hasn't been mowed, or the landscaping hasn't been kept up in the rear of the building. Okay, so I'll
Yeah.
circle back with them.
No, now, wait, so let's go back to the bond. If the town attorney says that the bond is, the statute of limitations is over, then do we not take action on it, or we do, or does it
No,
matter?
there's, I think
We'll just leave it at, for now.
this is more of just, I'm just gonna continue this to,
Yep.
I'll keep you updated.
Yep.
But there's no action to take. I wanted to really update
Okay.
you on the status, but.
Gotcha. Okay, any other old business?
No, but I have, if you could amend the agenda. This was a request to receive a 90-day extension for the ability to record the Mylar plan for, this is the subdivision at 440 Totucket Road, where they created 3 lots. So that was approved. I have the Mylar, but it's close to 90 days. It will be 90 days on February 2nd from the date of the appeal, the end of the appeal. So they're requesting another extension,
What
another
was-
90-day extension. The appeal period.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
I move that the following item be added to the agenda. The applicant's request for 90-day extension on recording the Mylar for subdivision plan property NF Hart, 440 Totucket Road, North Branford, Connecticut, dated July 4th, 2016, revised to October 27th, 2016. PC application 2016-11, sorry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? The agenda is
Amended?
amended,
Okay,
so
so then,
right back at you.
so, does anyone wanna see the plan? Okay. It's just a request to, so that they don't lose their ability for the subdivision. And the reason why we haven't, allowed them to record the Mylar is because we don't have a bond yet. So we need the bond before we can let them record it.
All right. I move to grant 90-day extension on recording the Mylar, subdivision plan property NF Hart, 440 Totucket Road, North Branford, Connecticut, dated July 4, 2016, revised to October 27th, 2016. PZ application 2016-11, owner applicant Chris DeLongo and Sean Cable.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That passes 4-0.
Do you want me to take that so I can just type it in?
Yes, that'd be great.
All right, now moving on to the town planners report. Scheduling the receipts for the next couple meetings.
Okay. At the February 2nd meeting, we'll have a continuation of the public hearing for 50 Clintonville Road, which was requested at the last meeting. I don't have any other new applications. If we move down to B1, which is review and receive application of 2016-15, that is one application that I'm proposing. So, in front of you is a revised packet. Should look like this.
Oh, yep, okay.
So this is, we started talking about this at the end of last year. There's 7 proposed text amendments in the zoning regulations. They're relating mainly to, I don't want to say administrative, but kind of a variety of different issues that have come up, either due to statute changes, making sure that our regulations comply with the state statute, or issues that the zoning officer and I have identified and we feel would be of benefit to the town if we make these changes. Again, pure recommendations, you don't have to take them. And then also, there are proposed changes to the subdivision regulations. You'll remember that we had discussion about adding Loop Road.
Yep.
There's also requiring that for public hearings, it be very clearly noted that the applications, that there be notice of the public hearing made to all property owners for subdivisions and re-subdivisions, which was not previously stated. And then the larger change was talking about some sort of fire suppression system for subdivisions with 3 or more lots. And that's when the fire chief came in. And
Okay, no, go ahead. Keep going.
I mentioned at the last meeting, one of the additions that I included in the zoning regulations that we had not previously talked about is requiring that all applications be signed by the property owner. So I included that one as issue number 5, proposed change.
What's required current, now?
It's not explicitly stated that the property owner
Okay, so we're just
sign the
clarifying it. Yep.
application. Right. And we lost a court case recently. Because the town attorney, argued that, well, the property owner never signed, but the judge says, well, it never says in your regulations that the property owner has to sign.
And where's that one?
That's on page 3 of 4, issue number 5. So I have this in section 62.2.
Just add an S on the end of that.
Thank you. So if the commission is interested in filing this application, it would be, on behalf of the North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission, and obviously this would go to a public hearing, at least one, if not several.
I'm good with it. I mean, we can make tweaks to it.
Right, you can
Yeah, once, if we get some public comment on
change
it,
it,
yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Sure. Just to clarify, because we have 2 or 3 different sets here. The public hearing part of it, would that be the last part about the cisterns? Or is that, are we approving cisterns?
It's in here.
The fire suppression system?
Yes.
That would, no, this is a proposed text amendment, you're not approving a text amendment at this point. It's a proposed text amendment that could then be changed and tweaked or fully removed
Okay.
if you don't agree with it. Or you can remove it now and not include it as part of a proposed text amendment if you're not in agreement with the application.
I have a question. Oh, Ron, are you good?
No, I guess, I have a lot of questions about the fire suppression system. The cost, the.
Well, that will be up,
Yeah.
in the public
But-
hearing, yeah.
That has to go to a public hearing and, yeah, I'm good that it'll go to a public hearing.
Right, okay, yep. The question on the lighting, how is, let's see, so what's in bold?
Proposed change.
Right, so the lighting of the American flag may deviate from the standards, but shall not produce disability glare, no creative nuisance for abutting property owners of residence area. But isn't that the same as in 41.211? To prevent objectionable light at the property lines and disability glare at any location on or off the property. It's similar, I mean, is that,
The main difference here, and
and we don't, I mean,
This
we
is-
don't, and we know that we can change this, but I just wanted to maybe
right,
see
so
what.
the main difference here is just to allow uplighting for
I
American
got you,
flags.
okay.
That's,
alright.
that's really what
Okay,
it is.
all right, gotcha.
And it's, of course, when, one change that you make with zoning, you're gonna, kick yourself. You can't win, if you try and tighten it up in one area to make it better, then you're gonna,
Yep, sacrifice somewhere else.
sacrifice, yeah.
The key here is the American flag doesn't fall into the category as a sign or a banner.
Exactly.
It's treated completely different.
Yep.
Therefore, it has its own paragraph.
All right, so
Exact-
this-
yes, thank
so
you,
when,
that's-
so you'll put this out to,
So if you are in agreement that this would be, the application,
Mhm.
then, we have to advertise. So I would wanna give it plenty of time so that there's notice. So I might even push it out to the March 16th meeting.
yeah, I mean, what would be also, let's see, what's the date today? Today's the 19th?
19th. So we need to advertise
Well, do you want,
two
let me
times
ask you a
in-
question, do you wanna wait until we find out about the ruling from Hartford? Because if that ruling comes down and there's no, exception, then we need to move on that. So we probably want to, let's just say it's 2 weeks later, so that brings us to the middle of February. So then this would be hitting about the same time, so maybe, I don't know if you wanna hold off until we hear that.
Well, we can,
We can continue this, I mean.
with text amendments, we're not subject, as the applicant, we're not subject to that strict timeline
Okay.
that applicants are subject to. We can take as long as we want.
Then let's then put it on.
So we can always continue it, and
Yep.
I think if we push it out to the March 16th meeting,
Yep.
that gives us plenty of time.
Perfect.
We could make the March 2nd meeting, if you'd rather do that.
But-
So there's a February
Yeah,
2nd meeting and February 16th.
Yeah, that's, yeah, because if we
So
can, we
March
can take our
2nd?
time,
This is
yeah.
coming up.
Yeah, we can take our time, yeah, that's, let's do
Alright,
March
so we'll do
2nd.
March
And we can just
2nd.
get it.
And if we get a bunch of, if we have more of the stuff, we just continue it to the next meeting.
Yep.
Let's get it on the agenda, yep.
Okay.
And then we can also think of how, how we're gonna handle this one at a time.
Yep.
And make sure we get one buckled down before we move to the second one and so forth. Or just for thought for now. We can decide that when it comes up. Did my friend just text you? Are you going with us?
Yeah. What's his name?
Mark Vogt.
Yeah, he just sent me a text. I gotta bring something up today.
I went skiing last weekend. It was painful. It was all ice. Has it got rain? No, they got some snow up there now. Where are you going?
Okay, well.
You'll be fine. Yeah.
Kima?
Because it was a long weekend, it was skied off and it rained, and it was, it was tough. It was really tough. Hard skiing. So, now, moving on to the review draft budget for 2018.
Yes, okay.
So now, this time, we got a little bit more warning than we normally do, seems like it. Thank you.
Well, this is, your specific
Yeah, yep,
commission budget.
yep.
Right, okay. So, I also included the memo from the town manager requesting a 0 increase. So basically, it's the same numbers as last year. It is the same numbers as last year.
But,
It includes the part-time zoning officer. My salary and my time is not included in this, so this is just the planning and zoning commission, I'm included in the planning department. It includes Janet's time, again, the ZEO's time. We added in ZEO court time, we had that last year. Luckily, we haven't had to use that. And then just kind of miscellaneous, technical supplies, planning and zoning statutes, legal notices, which we're definitely going to expend all of that this year. And then professional development is one that's great. You know, we go to a lot of seminars, we pay for you guys to go to different seminars, and we use all of that money as well. The biggest change that I'm proposing, that we have to do, is updating the plan of conservation and development.
where's that? What page
That's
is
on the
that?
last page.
Okay.
Under 320, other contractual. So I've proposed $50,000. And I feel like that's a good number because of the amount of work that we need to do. The basics are there with the plan, but Fran had brought the example from Wallingford because they just updated their POCD last year. And I really like how theirs is laid out. If you haven't seen it, I have it here. But our POCD spends a lot of time talking about the demographics of the town, the history
Right.
of the town.
Very wordy.
Right.
And it just, which is great, that's all good background information, but I think that should almost be more of an appendix, and the plan should really start with what are our goals and where we're going, and that's what Wallingford has done.
Yeah, good.
They're very specific and very easy to follow. As you say, it says what the goals are, how we're gonna do it, and
And a lot of the information in our past one, talking about the town of North Branford, we can just,
Yes.
that's not gonna change.
Right,
So.
right.
So basically, it's just the goals, the mission.
Right, and so a lot of that money, that $50,000, is to have a consultant, a third party, come in, help lead numerous public hearings, get input from the general public, talk with various boards and commissions, talk with businesses, talk with the Economic Development Commission, look at housing, look at population trends, look at our location, and, help pull it all together. So I think having someone who can help lead those discussions and be an outsider to help conduct those meetings would be really beneficial.
So what's the timeline for that? So when would we go out to, let's say, bid for a consulting?
So it has to be completed by 2019, July 2019. So we really need to start this time next year I'm gonna even start drafting the RFP within the next 6 months. And then, because it's gonna take probably 6 months to, get a consultant, get them on board, and then a year to do the plan.
they say.
So we go out to RFP, let's say we have a number of
This is-
people that respond.
Really,
The selection process, who will be
Yeah.
involved
It's so
in the
straightforward.
actual interviews?
Agriculture.
Good question, yet to be determined, I
It's-
think, so.
anybody can follow it.
Branford's
Ours.
actually going through it
Yeah.
now,
Hidden
and
read-
the town
read
planner in
falsely.
Branford asked me to be on their committee, which I thought was really nice.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a great idea to reach out to other towns, to, neighboring towns, to get their input. So we could ask for a planner in another community to be part of the review committee. We can ask, someone from planning and
Yeah.
zoning, we can ask someone from
Economic
economic
development.
development. We can brainstorm who we think would be a good
Even if they're,
review
even if they're
panel.
not like a voting, even if they're not, when I mean selection, they might not be able to actually make the selection, but at least be part of the
Mhm.
questioning, the interviewing
Right.
of that.
Right.
So you'll have your people who, folks who will be doing the actual selection, and then maybe a number of other people to participate in the interview process.
Right.
So I think it would be good, like you said, to open it up to some of the commission through that, or some, different agencies and commissions here to, so they can, see what we're gonna get.
Right.
Because I think that's important when you're, putting this kind of money out,
Mhm.
and also
Mhm.
trying to create a document that's a good working document, so.
Right. So,
Is
that's
there
really
any
the big.
indication that you're gonna get the 50?
So let me go back to, I have a question.
And that's, I have no idea. I mean, I know that this is a really tight budget year, and next year's gonna be even worse, so.
So the reduction of 172,000 is, that was what, but is there any, can that increase this year?
What do you mean increase?
Well, it says that there was a reduction of aid by 172,000 North Branford from the state. But is there a possibility that there could be other reductions throughout through this year? All right, because I know the state's working on the budget now, so we're kind of in flux with that. All right. So,
So as we, have the budget hearing schedule finalized, I can keep you all, updated, so that in case you did want to attend any of those hearings, you could.
so do we have to make a recommendation on this?
It's really just, for your information. I don't know
Okay,
if you
that's
see
fine.
anything
Yeah.
glaring that you have concerns about, or anything that you feel should be in there that is not. I can't say enough how helpful it is to have a zoning officer.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've been working with Tom to put together a summary of all of the work that he's done. The number of complaints that he's responded to, and the sites that he's cleaned up and remedied
Mhm.
these various issues. It's very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Do you want, on the 50,000, being that we wouldn't start at the same time, sometime next year, would it be, oh, never mind, because it's budget, never mind. I was gonna say split it in half, split it
If we
between the
have
two,
to, we
but-
could.
Yeah. They're probably gonna do it anyway, but
Right,
better come from us then.
right. Well,
It means that we looked at the document.
yeah.
And we
true.
understand the fiscal issues that we will be seeing. Where's the zoning enforcement officer again in here?
Right here, part-time.
Okay, right.
Is that right? Yes, I believe so. Under personnel. Yes. 102 is
Okay.
the
Yep.
line.
Do we know what advertising was last year?
Yep.
Oh,
Advertising
yeah.
last year was 1120.
and we budgeted 1,500, correct?
This current year, we budgeted 1,500.
What was it last year?
1120. Oh, what we budgeted?
Yeah.
947.
I think that might be the year before.
Oh, wait, here we go. No, that was actuals. We budgeted 1,500 and two, oh, no, so we don't, it doesn't say. That's okay. Oh, wait, no, we budgeted 1,500 last year, yeah, yeah. 2016, 17 was 1,500,
That's
and we're
right,
doing the
that's
same thing.
current,
Yep,
yeah.
yep,
Yep.
gotcha. just trying to think of how much advertising we did last year.
Well,
I think we did a good
Lynn-
amount.
Lynn, the secretary, has been really great about trying
Trying
to
to
get it down.
squeeze it down?
Right,
Yeah.
so that we're not including map and lot in the advertisement, because, we don't, people who read the newspaper don't need to know map and lot, it's just the key information.
Well, let me ask you a question then. Okay, so putting it in to the newspaper, where is that statute?
It's under hearings, I wanna say it's 8-70.
Is it, that's for all
Yep,
commissions and boards?
Connecticut statute, yep,
It's a Connecticut statute?
yep, state statute, yep.
Because in this electronic world,
They've been talking about eliminating that requirement, but it hasn't happened yet.
well, just not, maybe, yeah, just give us
For the
an,
newspaper.
give an option. I mean,
Right.
we probably still wanna advertise there, but, it would also be as equally as good as to get as much information out through whatever means.
Right.
But standardize it within our, whether it's through, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it might be, some way to get the information out to more people.
Mhm.
Because how many people still read the newspaper? I don't wanna say that, but,
I do.
well, not,
I read it online,
well, you don't see the legal notices in there, if that's really good. I don't think.
but you can get.
Unless you pay for the subscription. I'm not paying. Get your password.
Sure.
So the only other, thing that I had was just about continuing education. This is, a really, really good seminar that I went to 2 years ago, so they have it every other year. It's at Wesleyan.
Yep.
Highly recommend it, whoever can come. It's a Saturday, so it is all day. It's 8:30 to 4:30.
Do you have to register in advance?
Mhm.
Can you register like kinda last minute on that? Cause I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna be away
Okay,
part of the month in March.
yep, I don't think they have a
Right.
cutoff.
Cause I went a few years ago. I don't know if I went with you or the year before. Can't remember.
I don't know that anyone went when I went in 2015, but it's a really, really good seminar.
Can I see that?
So you pass that down. And that was,
Oop.
oh, and then there's the,
And we should offer that to, Trish as well.
yes,
Yeah.
I'll email it to everyone.
Okay. So, okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
There's the CERC event for commission members as well, which is January 31st in the evening from 5 to 7. There's a flyer in front of you if I haven't heard from you. I think Bill and Fran
Yep.
said yes.
Flyer.
It was emailed out too.
I have it right here.
Yeah,
Yep, there you go.
I'll check the email.
So it's for fundamentals of economic development.
And let's see, where is it?
It's here.
It's here?
Yep.
January 31st.
When is that, the 31st?
What's that?
Yeah, is it 5 o'clock or something?
Right, 5 to 7.
What's the,
Tuesday?
Oh, it's a Tuesday.
I don't know what it is. I can find out.
all right, no, I got it, it's, yeah. Oh, yeah, can you find out?
Yep.
Day of the week, what?
Yeah, if it's
Yeah,
Tuesday, I
it's
can
a
definitely
Tuesday.
make it. If it's Thursday,
It's a Tuesday.
I can't.
It's Tuesday?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll coach you.
So I don't know if you want to mention the SCROG meeting I went to.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I went to a SCROG meeting last Thursday.
What's for the public, just so, what's the?
It's the regional planning, right?
Yes.
Southern.
Southern Connecticut Regional Council of
Yeah,
Governments.
Council of Governments. So as the chair of the Branford Planning and Zoning, he was also a lawyer, and he talked about it was the top 10 ways of losing an appeal or something. So there were 12 reasons, and number 12 took about half an hour, because there was a lot of subparts. But it was actually very good. It was actually really, really good. But I sent Carrie a few things that I think we know, but it kind of struck me as, we just got to make sure we do this. And the first thing was alternates, and I think we know, so alternates can't participate in deliberations. And I think we know that, but they can't even comment. Well, he suggested they don't even comment. So if we close a public hearing, we have a discussion, and they participated in the public hearing part, they shouldn't even comment, because they can influence us.
So
in our
even
decision.
even in the public hearing
No, they
portion?
can participate in that, but once we close the public
Oh, yeah.
hearing and we go into deliberations.
Yes.
They have to kind of be silent, or they
Right.
suggested they be silent. And I think each time he mentioned these, he said, you know, for the mundane things, it's, you know, I guess you shouldn't do it, but the mundane things is probably not a big deal. But for the big Walmart ones that come in, or
Right.
the big Ys, it could be an issue, you know, someone could raise that as an issue.
I think, and then did he mention that, like, announcing who's seating,
Yeah,
not only
exactly.
seating for the public
Yep.
hearing, but for the
That's-
deliberation?
Yes, he did, he
All right.
mentioned that, he
Mhm.
recommended that, that's exactly how they should do it. So it's clear, it's just us four, and then like, Trish couldn't participate.
Right,
Unless she was seated, you know,
Right.
as an alternate.
right.
The other thing, suggestion, I even said it in the email, I don't think this is an issue, but I just said, we should be careful, and it said just, like, making sure you don't perceive it like you're friendly or too chummy, or joke too much with applicants or engineers, like, you know, Bob
Right,
Driscoll
yeah.
or something we say.
Yeah.
Again, it's for the mundane one, it's not a big deal, but that could be perceived by the public as, you know, hey, you know, you've got obviously a friendship with this person, and obviously that may sway your decisions. So he just suggested, you know, it should be by formal names, you know, to a
Right.
certain point. But that just struck me, I thought.
Did you send it out?
Yeah, I
Okay,
can send it.
Okay, I'll take a look. But,
The last thing was that we cannot, and I don't think we do this necessarily, but we cannot waive requirements. Like even the very minor things, like if it's if it was approved plan was for, you know, this lighting or something, or a sidewalk or
Right.
something, and then afterwards they come back and they say, you know, we wanna not have to put sidewalks because they're really not relevant now or something, we actually can't waive it.
because it was already a public hearing and it's already been acted on.
It's only the ZBA, cause
That
we
is-
can
that would be
only.
a variance.
Yep.
I guess, well, actually, he said if it's in our regulations, we can't waive. If our regulations say you need sidewalks and it's been approved as a sidewalk, and then they come back and say,
Right.
you know, the situation now is, and it's very reasonable, that they probably don't need sidewalks, we can't waive it because it's our regulations, only the ZBA can waive a regulation.
Okay.
We can only, we can only rule on our regulations. We can't waive our regulations. I said-
Sidewalks come up a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought that's the one thing I thought of.
Well, usually we waive the sidewalks and curbs when we make a decision. We can do it then. We can do it then. We can waive it during the public hearing. What Bill's saying is, once it's approved, we can't go back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
once it's
But during,
I may have said that, but I didn't mean it that, I was
Yeah.
using that as an example.
Yeah.
If it's in our regulations, we can't waive it.
That's what I
We
thought you
can
meant.
only say it meets our regulations, doesn't meet our regulations. We can't waive our regulations, only the ZBA can waive our regulations.
the actual regulation, right?
Yeah, I think I stated it
Yeah.
the way you heard it, but I didn't
No.
mean it.
Oh,
that way.
okay, all right.
I don't think you did.
Because I know we,
I was trying to be
no,
nice.
no, but I know we've waived some in the past. During the site plan, right? I think so.
Yeah?
That's
But maybe I don't-
why I
Which-
sat there
right,
and
which I
said,
don't-
interesting, and I took a
think-
note.
Right.
You know, we've waived things as simple as, you know, I can't remember exactly what, you know, they wanted a maple tree and the guy put an oak tree in, and it was like.
See, that
or,
we can, though.
You know.
I think
Right.
it's our regulations, though. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, but
if it says for a
if we approved
subdivision.
the site
you-
plan that said there's
Yeah.
gonna be an oak tree here,
Yeah.
you
This
know,
was.
technically, he can't put a maple tree there.
But I did-
So
I did-
I may have misspoke. I'm gonna say I misspoke, so don't correct me. I misspoke, all right? I think what he said was, it's our regulations.
Yeah.
We cannot waive things on our regulations. We
Right.
can only rule, does it meet the regulation, our zoning regulations or not?
Right.
If
I
they
see what
want
you're
us
saying.
to waive something in our regulations, we can't do that.
Right.
The ZBA
So
can only
so
waive
we
it.
have a height restriction, I don't know, what's it, 37 feet?
35.
35 feet. So if somebody wants to do 40 feet, we can't say, well, yeah, go ahead, we'll waive the
Right.
35
Yeah,
feet.
it actually looks real nice. That sounds good.
Right.
Hey,
But
we'll
if,
let you
as
do
far
it.
as,
Yeah.
as far as the trees, if a regulation said, you know, they make a
Some trees.
suggestion that they're gonna put in whatever, and they
Right.
come back and say, you know what, that's not gonna work out, we wanna change it,
Yeah,
you know,
that's-
we're not waiving the regulation, we're
No,
just allowing a
that's just
revision
a
on
site
it, so
plan.
we
It's a
just,
modification.
You
And I
need
think-
landscaping and
Right.
15-feet buffer area.
But I think-
And they said oak trees, and now they want pine trees.
and I
Okay.
think it's up to us to
That's-
decide
that's our
what we'll
decision.
waive and, you know,
Yeah.
what we should do and what we shouldn't do, so, and I
Exactly.
think that's
Well-
something
But a,
that's,
but a
we can
zoning
document,
regulation
yeah.
cannot.
And if the regulation says that needs sidewalks, then
Yeah.
we can't waive that,
We
Right,
cannot.
right.
which I think we have done.
Right. Now, the other thing is, did they mention anything about, public hearing and when you render a decision on a roll call vote, which we call a roll call vote, other people, a roll call vote is just a yea or nay, but when, did they say anything about stating your, position?
They did say something, I don't know exactly what they said, but certain ones warrant a roll call vote.
Right.
And what is your question? Do we need to state our
No, well, yeah, I mean, when it
reasons?
comes to, yes, being very specific, and, I mean, did they cover that
They,
at all?
they did cover that, yeah.
Right.
I don't exactly remember,
Okay.
it did strike me as, okay, yeah, there are situations where we have to do a roll call vote, and you should state a
Right.
position.
Right,
Right.
but- and I think that if you don't, you need to state your reasons
Yep.
for approvals for public hearings. If you don't, then, and it's appealed, then the judge finds a reason, so it's kind of clear if you state your
State,
reason
right.
as to why you're approving or denying something, because if you don't state it and it's not in the record, then the judge will look for something, he'll look for the
Right.
record. So it's almost clearer to state your position one way or the other.
I thought there was another one that I had, so I had those. Yeah.
I think we should put in for the budget, so we don't have to do the printing and binding, we don't get Macs, iPads.
We still haven't gotten your boots.
I
What
don't
do you
know if
think?
that's
We
going
put-
to.
You think we can put that
fly.
in there? iMacs for the commissioner?
I'd rather do the plan of conservation and development, but. So that was everything that we had.
Yeah, I missed the dinner meeting because I thought it was Friday.
Oh,
And I'm all dressed to go, and I said, gee, let me look up Bellini's and see if they're still in the same place.
yeah.
I said, oh my God, it was last
I
night.
drove to
And I'm all
Ludell's and
dressed,
said,
my
"Where
coat
the-"
on.
I went to Ludell's and said, I thought it was here.
Was it New Haven?
No, it was
No,
in
right in
North
North
Haven.
Haven.
Oh, okay. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Then somebody? Oh, we're all set here?
Yes.
Somebody?
All set?
Yeah.
I motion we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Don't see any?